So we are in this training, and in again, humble request to everyone, please keep your
Not audible, sir. Your voice is getting breakdown.
hello. Is it better
Hello,
now?
your voice is getting breakdown.
Is it so? My voice is still breaking down, or is
Now
it
it's
clear
fine.
to everyone?
Now it's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. So what I was saying, this is the training. Like in this training, we are going to learn about Azure and Azure DevOps. So Azure is basically our focus is to learn about the Azure administration in context of Azure DevOps. I mean, whatever the Azure administration we are going to learn, we are going to use when we are going to learn about Azure DevOps. Okay, so let me introduce about myself first, and then we'll start. So my name is Manish Shrivastava, and I have 14 years of working experience in with multiple companies like HCL, IBM, Cognizant, Edison, and other few companies more. I am have certified in multiple Microsoft Azure administrations, and key skills which where I have worked on is like Azure Cloud, Terraform, Windows administration, PowerShell, and AKS as well. Okay. Other than that, I have conducted multiple trainings and webinars, and I have trained multiple people, online and offline both. So online is something we all know, like the demand of for the online training has gone increased in last 2 3 years, but before that it used to be offline technical trainings also. And my friends call me Manny, so all of you can also call me Manny if you like. Also, I'm good with Manish as well. Okay, so the certifications which I have cleared with my experience and learning is AZ 104, 305, 400, and 700. So all are basically different domains in Azure Cloud. And other than that, I have also cleared one HashiCorp certification, which is Terraform. So Terraform is basically infrastructure as code tool. So we'll obviously talk about it later. So that's all about my introduction. So I just before we start, I need you to understand about you guys as well. So if we can, just give some idea. Like, are you from which background, like IT background, or even if you're IT background, then are you from the support background or the development background, something like that. So can can I get some idea? Okay, IT admin.
Hello,
I can see Mr. Kumar's. Yes, yes, Aparna. I can see.
sir. Your voice is breaking down only for me or for the entire team. I don't know, but it's getting a breakdown when you're talking, sir.
Okay. Can somebody else other than Aparna please confirm if it is breaking down?
No, no, everything is voice is coming properly, not an issue.
So
Pardon?
maybe Aparna at your end there is some. So Aparna, the other
Hello.
team members, other people are saying. Okay. So okay, I was going through the chat. Just give me, let me go back there. Okay, somebody is from Oracle as well. Somebody from the DBA as well. Okay, do we have anyone who is from the development, like software application development? Okay, somebody, okay, Anish is IT infrastructure support engineer. Good, good. Okay, fine. Thank you guys. Thanks for sharing the information. And now I get the idea, like what we are, I mean, what kind of training we are going to have it. So let me go through the content first, and
Hello, sir. Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
yeah.
Sir, my background is completely non-IT. So, is it fine to, uh, take the training of Azure DevOps? My background is I've completed MBA and I have
Mhm.
total of 12 years of experience into non-IT.
So, do you have like no experience at all?
No, I don't have any experience into IT.
Okay. See, the course is absolutely, we are going to start from the beginning. Okay, we are absolutely
Okay.
start like how to create account, even the free account in the Azure, and how to go that. So all I can say, Aparna, if you are from non-IT, then yeah,
Mm,
of course you need to do little more effort even during the training and after the training. So of course any beginner can start the training. There is no problem, but you have to put some extra effort as compared to others who are already working in IT on your own as well. Of course, I'll be there to help you whenever or whatever you help with, but again, since you are from non-IT, so you need to again learn by your own yourself to understand things more and
okay.
better. So
Okay.
if you are comfortable with your own efforts, then absolutely you can. Nothing like this is like not like I would say rocket science, but yes, since your background is different, so you have to put some extra effort, nothing.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, I think somebody Bharani, and I, I can see the hand Bharani Seelam.
Uh, Hi, Manish.
Bharani, you would like to ask?
Yeah, but I'm having quite a lot of echoes from different people here, so I'm really unsure if my voice is clear. But yeah, Manish, as long as you can hear, I'm fine. I just want to quickly ask you, um, like how many hours of commitment is needed for this course to be completed successfully, especially if you're from a non-IT background and an IT background. But I'm asking this because I'm a mom of a 1.5, I mean not 1.5 still, but 13 months old kid. So I'm just asking, I'm curious to know how many hours of commitment is needed.
See,
Thanks.
first, okay, thanks, Bharani. It's a very, good question because I understand most of us are, already working somewhere, and we also have some family to maintain and to take care of them. So I completely understand. So to answer your question, all I can say, see, 1 hour or maybe 1.5 hour, absolutely, we're going to have a training session from Monday to Friday. That's the training hours. But other than that, what I can tell you, like if you somehow manage at least 1 hour every day, okay, then I think you will be on, track. Because we need to understand, no matter what training you are doing in this world, if you are not practicing it, if you are not, going through all the topics we have discussed in the training, absolutely you are going to lose the track. So I can, based on my experience, and I'm also, and let me tell you, I am also not a very quick learner. So as a average learner, and I also have a family. So as an average learner, I can say if you are able to take out 1 or 1.5 hour other than the training hours, it would be keep you on the track, and you will be able to complete. I hope
Thanks,
I
Manish.
answered your query,
Yeah,
Bharani.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes, thanks.
Okay. So somebody. Anybody else? Okay, I can see the message like Niranjan. I am quite deficient in coding. So, okay, Niranjan, when you say you are deficient in coding skills, you are saying like you have less understanding of the coding, right? Okay, maybe I'm not sure, Niranjan, if you can hear me or not, but I think I get your question. See, for this course, I can tell you like understanding of the coding is, not a mandatory skill, but yes, if you at least to know the basics of the coding, it would be really helpful to, cover some topic. I would not say not at all is required, but you need to understand the, time which where we are, coming. Right now, everyone wants to have automation. And when I talk about the automation, then absolutely the coding is going to be there. So you do not have to be very much, kind of coder, but yes, you should have basic understanding of the coding, which I think in your case you already have it. But yes, you are not someone who is very kind of expert or professional in coding, which is fine. That's not at all required here in this training as well. But yes, I would strongly suggest you, whatever the knowledge you have in your coding area, please try to keep it up and try to increase day by day. It will simply going to help you, not just to get the job, also to get the promotion or to get a better job. So if you have not that much of professional level of coding experience, which is fine, that's not required at all to complete this training or to start the training. However, if you keep practicing your coding skills, whatever you know, and if you keep it with you, it is again going to help you anyway. So and that's not just Niranjan. It would be anyone. If you have any coding experience, anyone, then I would strongly say try to take out at least 30 minutes and write, even if you write is one small code for your coding experience, it is going to help you a lot. So, I mean, this is basically going to make a difference in your own skill and understanding towards how the technology works. Okay. So next question I can see is who is that? Do we have Shashank? Do we have project-based training? Yes, but in order to reach to that level, because Shashank, if you can hear me out, then I'm not sure what your background is, but all I can say, like we have many people who have basic backgrounds, and we have to, in this training, we have to take care of everyone. So we'll absolutely go with the basic training first, so that once the base is, covered for everyone, then of course in the later stage we will have some projects to do. But we cannot directly go to the jump based training. All I mean, this is all I can say. We have to take care of everyone. So once everyone is at the level where they can understand the project based learning, then absolutely we have one project based learning here.
Yeah, thanks, Manish, for the clarity. I'm just checking, are we doing some scenario based or we are just going through the uh, resources? That's my question,
Now,
actually.
see, okay, we are absolutely going to have a scenario-based situation as well, but we need to first build a kind of platform. So I'll cover it and after that, I am pretty much sure you will get the idea, like how this training is going to be molded and how it will go.
Okay, so
Okay,
it's
thanks.
a 35 days, right?
Sorry, Sank, I lose you.
Yeah,
What you said?
we are getting some background from the people anyway, but I guess this is 35 days training.
Yes, we are hoping to complete it in 35 days. It completely depends, but if like it all depends on the what progress and development we make in the hours. But yes, I'll try my best to complete all the topics and to create a baseline where everyone can understand like what we have learned, and from that point, what are the other areas they can learn other technologies as well.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, okay. Next question is Sunny. My notice period is 3 months. Will I get calls? Okay, Sunny, I this is something okay, I cannot comment on that part because this is something not just with you. There are a lot of professionals out there who are, who in which company they are working, they have 3 months of notice period. So, I mean, my commitment is about to provide you with the training and the course content. Okay, so and I can only tell you about this. What training I can give you. So I hope once you understand, learn, you will certainly get the calls. Okay, guys. So let's do one thing. I think I'm getting a lot of questions in this. So is it better? Like, of course, you guys can keep typing and asking your questions in the chat. So is it better if we can just go through the contents first? What kind of training it will be? What we are going to discuss throughout this? and then we'll come to the at the later section of this call, we'll try to answer all the questions. Okay, thanks. So let's continue with the content and training, and then of course at the end we'll try to answer whatever the questions. Okay, thanks. So I have already given my introduction, guys. So that's about. So we are going to now go through the course content which we are going to cover in this training. And just to update you guys, I just maybe forgot, but the training is for 2 months. Somebody has just asked me, it's 35 days, but I think the training is for the 2 months. So we'll see that. Okay. See, so guys, this course is about giving you the idea or giving you the understanding and learning for the Azure cloud and the Azure DevOps. So Azure cloud is one of the primary and one of the major cloud infrastructure service given by the Microsoft. Similarly, we have AWS as well, and then Azure or Microsoft has also come up with their own set of tools, which we are calling it Azure DevOps. So in this training, we are going to understand both. First, we are going to talk about the Azure infrastructure, how it works, and what are the important key resources we need to learn. And then we will move to the Azure DevOps section, where we are going to see how we can deploy the application and everything. So I'll explain to you in all detail, more details in a bit later. So let's go through this content first. So the first chapter or first module is we are going to talk about Azure fundamentals, where I'm going to let you know what is Azure, and once you know what is Azure, then how you can create the free tier account. If you know it is already good, and some of you may have already aware of it, but yes, of course, we are going to tell you how to create a free tier account so that you can do all your labs without spending money. And we are also going to talk about Azure regions and availability zone. So we need to understand how the Azure works in the backend, how it is being set up by the Microsoft, which will give us the clarity while we are working on the other services. So that first part is talking about the fundamentals. Then in the second part, we are going to talk about the networking. So networking is important, and why is it important? Because whenever you work with any kind of application, whenever you work with any kind of software or infrastructure, it's not something like you do standalone. So networking is a key component of any kind of development, no matter you are working on your lab or you are working any kind of infrastructure environment. So networking concepts must be clear to everyone, whether you are a developer or a support admin or a DBA or a programmer, whatever role you are working on. Networking is quite common to every every field. So we are going to focus how networking works in Azure. We'll see how different resources are connect with each other. Because if let's say if you are a software developer or programmer, then you know you have to write codes for your front end and for your back end as well. So there is something called front end and back end. So when you write a code for the front end, then it will go to the database. So that part also is going to cover about the networking. So networking is not about and we are going to learn. My screen is visible.
Yes, yes,
Anybody can just confirm if my screen. Okay,
yes,
thank you.
yes.
So networking, yeah. So of course, thank you, thank you. So here we are not going to do very hardcore networking where we are going to do some switches and the routers. That kind of not networking we are going to do here. We are going to understand how the networking works in the cloud environment. So we'll see that. Then we are also going to talk about the storage account. So storage is one of the important resource, because we need something to store our data. So where I can store the data, if I'm storing data with the storage account, then how I'm going to access my data. If I'm going to access my data, then how I'm going to secure my data. So and how I'm going to protect my data. So there are multiple I would say things we need to understand in terms of a storage account, because that is also one of the key component while we are doing any kind of deployment or application development, anything. So storage is absolutely important. So we'll talk about that, how it works in cloud. Then we will come to the hosting infrastructure. So hosting infrastructure is pretty much something which deals with the virtual machine, app services, Docker, and AKS. So for a lot of you people, these words or these terminals may be new, but let me tell you what is hosting infrastructure. So hosting infrastructure is basically your hardware, where you are actually hosting your application. So for example, if I can simply give you the example, your mobile device. If you have an application, then you certainly need a kind of hardware where you can run your application. So that hardware is something we are calling it a hosting environment. Okay. So that hardware, we are calling it the hosting environment. So no matter what kind of application you developed or anybody developed in the world, that application must need some hardware to run. So for your example, in our mobile, let's say if I am a developer of Instagram or if I am a developer of Facebook. So no matter what kind of development I have done, I am going to run it on some hardware. So that hardware is basically called hosting infrastructure. And when that hardware is there, right? So we also need networking of those hardware. So there are a lot of components. We need storage as well. So that is why we have talked about the networking and storage first. Then we talked about the hosting. Now, when I say hosting infrastructure are different to different clouds. In Azure, we have virtual machines where we are going to host our application and see how it works. We have app services as well. Then we have Docker, and then we have AKS as well. So these are four, hosting infrastructure platforms where we are going to, host our application. So you must have seen, or you must have heard a lot about how Netflix works, how Azure, Azure saying Amazon Prime works. So all those applications which is actually working around us, they must be running on some kind of hardware platform. They must be running some kind of, underlying infrastructure. So in Azure, we are going to talk about these four hosting infrastructure. First, it is virtual machine. We'll see how to create the virtual machine, how what are the options we are getting in the virtual machine, and how we are going to host our infrastructure on the virtual machine. So website hosting is also we are going to see that. So these are the things we'll talk about when we'll come to the virtual machine. Then we have app services. Okay, so this title is not replaced with the app services. I'll correct it later. But as of now, the module 5, we are going to talk about the app service. So app service and virtual machines are pretty much the same thing, but in the app service, the hardware and the operating system is something managed by the Microsoft or the Azure, not by us. So virtual machine is, app service is only about deploying our code. So let's say you are a developer, right? And you have written some sort of application or whatever the code you have written. Now you need a hardware to run that. So you need a hardware to run that, and I am the provider. For example, I am coming to you and I'm saying that, okay, boss, whatever operating system I'm going to run on that hardware, you don't have to worry. All you need to do, you just need to deploy my application. So for example, if I take an example of Instagram, so you can run the Instagram on iOS as well, which is Apple phones, and you can run the same Instagram on the Android phones as well. So Instagram has nothing to do with where you are running on iOS or why you are running on Android. Instagram is an application which is compatible to both. So that kind of arrangement, we are calling it app service. In Azure, whenever you are going to deploy or whenever you are going to, come up with your application code, you simply need to host your code. You don't have to worry what operating system going on. Is it a Windows? Is it Linux? Or is it Unix or anything? So that's our platform as a solution service. Then it's the Docker fundamentals. Okay, guys, just give me a minute. I think I just need to take a quick. Uh, Let me give me a minute, okay, guys. Let me correct it, and then we'll talk about it. That was the only one. Okay, so my screen is visible, guys. Again, anyone can confirm, just in the chat or by
Yeah,
voice.
all good.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next is sorry. The next is Docker. So Docker is basically comes under the microservice. So this virtual machine and app service are a part of monolithic service. We'll talk about that monolithic and microservice. and Docker and AKS is a part of microservice. So you have heard about these terminologies somewhere in your discussions or in your YouTube channels or in your Instagram, but we are going to talk about the Docker. So Docker and AKS is with the microservice. So there is one more layer which is added to virtual machine and app service, and then we are going to visit the Docker and AKS. So as of now, when we are going to talk about the Docker, we are going to see how we are going to install it, how we are going to use it, how we are going to build the Docker images as well. So these are some preview of what we are going to learn in Docker. Similarly, we have the next section, which is AKS. So AKS is pretty much a big topic, and we have a lot of components because this belongs to the microservices, and microservices is basically deals with a lot of components. There are a lot of components which are work together in order to run the microservice. So we are going to learn all about the microservice, and you can see monolithic versus microservice. So we are going to learn about this. So once I'll be able to explain this monolithic versus microservices, I am pretty sure and confident you guys are able to understand what is Docker and what is AKS. If some of you already know, it is absolutely good. But I'm talking in context of the student or the people who has less awareness or idea about it. So we'll talk about this part, and then you will be able to understand. After that, we'll move to the Terraform, which is infrastructure as code. So till now, what happens when we talk about the coding? So whenever we talk about the coding, you guys must have heard about the programming languages. For example, C, C++, C Sharp, .NET, Java, Python. Have you guys heard about it, right? Or no?
Yeah, we heard.
Okay. Okay, so these are the programming languages which basically used to write codes and develop programs, right? But now there is another set of programming language. I would not say programming language. I would call it infrastructure as code. So it's less of JSON format. We'll talk about that later. But let me only give you the brief about what is Terraform. So Terraform is something. Let's say if I ask you to create a simple virtual machine on your platform, or let's say if I ask you to create a simple storage account or anything which you create by using the GUI, I mean the portal, okay, whatever you are doing it from the portal, that infrastructure is going to be built by using the code. So we are also going to learn how the infrastructure is going to be built by the code. So we are going to learn about the coding, not much in detail, but we are going to learn about how to do the code in Terraform so that you do not have to do the code all the time, but you must have understanding. If somebody has done the coding in their organization or in their project, then you must have understanding how these codes are going to work and what this code is about and how this code works. So this is also a new addition to the automation. So if you guys have noticed, I was talking about the coding skill. So this is not required a very complex coding because this Terraform is not as complex as we have Java, Python, or C or C++. It is quite simpler form of coding, but yes, you need to know how it works. So that is why we are going to touch base on this topic as well. Next, we are going to okay. Then from module 9, we are actually going to start our DevOps journey. And because by this time, we have all the understanding and all the required, awareness about the DevOps, sorry, about the Azure resources. And then we are going to talk about the DevOps. So in Azure DevOps, we are first going to go through this, basic DevOps, like what is DevOps, how we can create DevOps account, project organization, all these things we are going to talk about it. Then we have in Azure DevOps, we have multiple components. The first component is Azure boards. We are going to talk about that part as well. Then version control system. So let's say if you have your code with you, and how you are going to maintain the different version of your code, how you're going to maintain the backup of your code, what is branching strategy. So we are going to learn about this that part here. Then we have Azure repos. So Azure repos and this GitHub is pretty much the same, but GitHub is open source, and Azure repo is dedicated to Azure DevOps only. So we'll talk about that also. Then we have continuous integration. So if you guys have any time familiar with the DevOps, then we have a very famous terminology called CI/CD. Have you you must have heard about it, CI/CD. So this continuous integration is going to, here we are going to continuous integration, and then we are going to talk about continuous delivery. Later, we have artifacts. So artifacts is actually just a way give you whatever you have created. If you would like to reuse it later, then we are going to use make it as an artifact. So it is nothing, but it's just a kind of package. Let's say if you have created something, you would like to store it somewhere so that next time when you have some work like that, you can reuse that. And reusability is one of the key feature for DevOps. And then we are simply going to learn about the deployment strategy, like how we should plan our deployment. So that's not a big topic here, but yes, that's all for the course content, I would say. Okay, now I hope I have explained course content quite good, but again, if anyone has any question, we can talk about that later in the session. However, all I can as of now tell you, like these courses are basically designed, or these contents are basically defined or designed in a way like you can get an understanding from basic till advanced. One more thing, we need to, as of now there are many topics, or there are many points which you may not be able to understand completely, because we all understand, like we are in the very beginning of this journey. But once the training progress, once we will keep start picking up from the first module, then I am pretty much confident you guys will be able to pick it up, and will be able to have a good learning journey ahead. Okay, so let's uh, before other than the course content, I have something more to tell you, give you a simple understanding on that. Then we will talk. They will then we'll take the question answer. So now what I'm going to talk about, and it is especially for the people who are from the non-IT background, or who have beginners kind of experience, then I would say to pay more attention to the few slides which I'm going to talk about. So this is the course version. So first we need to understand what is DevOps, right? So it's about development and operations, right? So when I say development and when I say operations, so we need to understand this basic first. And after that, I'm pretty much sure you guys are going to understand what we are going to learn in this training. So DevOps is fine. As of now, forget about the DevOps. Don't look at the word DevOps. Just focus on the two words, which is called development and then operations. So when we say development, so you all have must understand that whatever application we are using, somebody has written some code for that application. Somebody, it could be any language. I'm not going to the language. It could be in C, it could be in C++, it could be in Java. So in computer world, or in the world of computer or digital world, okay, any application which you are using, somebody must have written some code for behind that. Some code is working behind that. So even, let's say, for all your mobile application, which is where your banking mobile application, your social media application with Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or any app which you are using on your mobile device, okay, or any application or software which you are using on your laptop, for example Microsoft Word, Excel, MS Paint, Notepad, all these are the applications. And somewhere somebody has written a code for that. So application, if I talk about what is application, so application is nothing. It's basically a kind of code, multiple lines of code written together to achieve certain functionality. So if I talk about Notepad, so Notepad is an application. Must be some code is written behind that, multiple thousands of or 10 thousands of lines behind that Notepad. But what is the functionality of Notepad? It is there to help us to take notes. It is there to help us to write something if I would like to write on my laptop. Similarly, I can do it on mobile device or tab as well. But basically, the functionality of the notepad is to write, to help us to write something, to type something on our machine or on our client, right? So that is application. So we need to understand this application is basically nothing. It's a set of some code. It's up to us. Like, of course, we are not going into the detail of the code. Like, I don't have to worry like in which code it is written, in which you know platform or framework it is written. That's a different story. But as of now, as a basic, all I need to let you guys know that application, which is also we call it program or software, everything you are using, which I can say simply online or in the mobile world or in the anywhere you are seeing anything digitally, anything on computer, simply understand there must be application. It is an application. Even your google.com, when you type your Google Chrome, in your Google Chrome and in your this Microsoft Edge or Internet Explorer, that is also an application. So basically, all we do, wherever, whatever work we do in even this PPT is an application. So everything is an application. So first thing we need to understand from the end user perspective, we work on applications. That's it. Okay, now when I come to application, it could have different or multiple types as well. So for example, web application. If somebody asks what is web application? Web application is basically an application which simply runs on the browser. So let's say if you are going into your google.com, and if simply you can open your internet banking, or you are opening your facebook.com, or if you're opening your web.whatsapp.com. So any application which requires a internet browser to run, we are calling it as a web application. And again, the code is written somewhere in the backend. Which language, which framework, we do not need to worry as of now. Till okay, so all we need, okay, this is the application. Standalone application, for example, we have MS Word, we have MS Excel. So it simply works on one computer or one laptop or one mobile, that we are calling it standalone application. Database application, where an application is going to store some data from us. For example, SQL or Excel. Excel is also one of the kind of database application if we are using it to save the application. Although it's not a very good one, but just to give you an example. Then we have system application. So what is system application? System application is the application which helps to run your system. For example, when you open your mobile phone, so Android is one of the system application, which is called operating system. iOS is one of the system application. When you turn on your mobile after switching off, and when you turn on your mobile, there are multiple applications running behind the scene which we don't see. So that is called system application. We don't have to worry about that, but these are the system applications which runs on their own to basically perform some operations for the hardware. Then we also have some hybrid application, like a kind of mix application. So for example, if I can say, we also have an application for Gmail, and we also open our Gmail on a Google Chrome or Internet Web Edge browser as well. So that's called hybrid application. So all this work, if I simply put it forward, all this application work is going to be done by the developer, the person or the professional people who does the coding for all these application. In short, they we call it software developers or application developers. We can call it developers, yes, of course. When you go more into that detail into that application development, then you can have different different categories as well. Like, I'm a web developer, somebody can, I'm enterprise application developer, somebody can say that I'm database application developer. That is a different thing. But end of the day, where on a very bottom line, if you look at them, you can simply say, okay, this is job of the application developer. That's the one part. Now you developed your application. So this in this journey, so what we are going to learn and what we are going to do, we do not have to do anything. We are not here to develop an application. We are absolutely not going to develop any app. That's not our job. That's a separate job, which is application or software development. So we are not going to learn that application, or we are not going to learn. That's a separate field. Okay. Now, if you have your application and you would like to host that application. So when I say host, of course, whenever you have your application, you need a platform to run, you need a device to run, right? So for example, if I am a developer of Instagram, right? If I am going to run my Instagram, then I need a device. I need a mobile, I need a laptop, I need a computer, right? I need some device where I can actually use my application. So that device or range of devices where I can use my application, that is called infrastructure. So this is the second part where we are
Manish,
going to.
Manish, one doubt here is like
Yes, yes, please.
Azure DevOps is is from Microsoft, is it? Like,
Yes.
are we deploying all the technologies, for example, Java, Python, or any other
No, no, no,
technologies?
no.
Altogether, we will be deploying the applications on this Azure platform, or like only specific to Microsoft technologies?
No, no. See, we are going to deploy the applications. Okay, absolutely. But we are not going to develop the application or write the application code for that. We are going to, deploy the application which is already written, because we cannot invest our time to, learn the programming language. So of course we are going to use that, but the platform which we are going to use is basically belongs to the Microsoft. Is it clear? Uh,
No, what I mean to say is this is best suited for only for .NET applications, or the
no, no, no.
functionality will be the
There is
same
nothing like that.
across.
No, no, no.
No,
It's not.
how can a business differentiate between different clouds? Like there is GCP, AWS, and Azure. And suppose someone is having a Java application, why he would be going to deploy this application to Azure when he is having a free
Mhm.
open source like AWS?
Okay, first thing, let me tell you the see the decision behind which kind of DevOps tool they are going to use. It entirely different, depends on the organization to organization. First, there is no one common framework. Second thing, we need to understand. Let's say if in any organization, if the organization has a lot of resources and application which belongs to the Microsoft, then of course it is good for them to go with the Microsoft. If an application infrastructure is more of on the Amazon or AWS cloud, then of course they can go with the AWS DevOps option. And again, the same with the Google as well. So it depends how your organization is running or what kind of infrastructure you are going to run. So not one person can learn all of it. First thing. Second thing, we need to hear what I'm trying to make you understand. Like, it doesn't matter what platform you are using. You need to understand the flow. Like, if the application is getting ready, how you are going to do the infrastructure. So if you understand the flow, then let's say, for example, today you are hosting your application on Windows application, and tomorrow there is an requirement comes like you need to host your application on a Linux operating system. Then in that case, you understand what is the activity. All you need to know, okay, how or what are the commands I need to use to host this application on Linux. So that kind of understanding we are going to develop here. And of course, we are going to use the product related to the Microsoft, because this is Azure administration and Azure DevOps course. Is it clear, Imran? I think is it Imran or
Yes, yes.
okay. So now let me finish this PPT, and then of course we'll take the question answer. Okay. So let's say this infrastructure. So I was talking till now. I spoke about the application, and I'm guys. I'm simply talking about in very basic, terms, so that everyone can understand, even the people who are from the non-IT. So now the second part says infrastructure. So till now, what I said, like the application is something which we have developed, or let's say we have a team of developers. They have developed the application, and now they have given that application to the infrastructure team. They said, okay, boss, this is my application. Now you are your responsibility is to host this application or deploy this application on some sort of platform. So you guys have also hear that very often, like, okay, for example, IRCTC is one of the application, and you must have heard, like, okay, the server is down or the link is not working. Okay, so when somebody says server is down or link is not working, okay, that does means there is some problem with the infrastructure. The code is already there. There is no problem with the code or the application. Mostly the problem is with the infrastructure. So if the infrastructure is not working properly or in contact with each other, then of course we are going to have a multiple problems. So that's where our picture comes. So we'll start with the application code. We are not going to write the code. We'll start with we have some already defined codes. We'll get it from the Google. It's not secret, I would say. But how to deploy that application code into the infrastructure by using different components, that is what we are going to learn. And that is what all about this course as well. So when I say DevOps, so development is something which we do not need to do. But yes, we need to understand what is development. Then we need to go and use the infrastructure, like what infrastructure is suitable. So right now somebody has asked, like, what kind of DevOps platform we are going to use, Azure DevOps or AWS or Google one. So that is also we are going to learn how to decide which infrastructure we are going to have it. And when I say infrastructure, it could be anything. It could be our client, it could be server, it could be virtualization, it could be cloud, and it could be microservices. So for this training, our focus will be on cloud and microservices, because this virtualization server and client is something which is absolutely there. But right now, these two are the mostly used infrastructure platform for all kind of application deployment. So that's all about the I would say application and the infrastructure. Okay, so till now, if anybody would like to ask anything, then please ask, and we can also answer the questions if you need. Is it and does this make any sense to you guys? Like what we are going to talk and what we're going to understand? Okay, so
Yes, Malik.
let's begin with the question. Yeah, of course, the last question which I simply remember is, like, somebody asked me, I'm a Oracle DB and I would like to learn DevOps for automated DB related things, infrastructure, things like provision server and database network. Yes, Kashif, you are a Oracle DBA, I understand, and you need to learn, like, how infrastructure works behind the, how the infrastructure is hosting the database, everything. So I'm not sure, I'm not going to we are not going to talk about specific to Oracle, but yes, we are going to talk about the infrastructure hosting, which will absolutely help you to understand and learn how you can deploy your Oracle or SQL or any database you want.
And related to the
Okay.
provisioning part, automation.
Sorry, I lose your
So,
voice.
yeah, suppose if you want to automate the provisioning of the server and database.
Mhm.
Provisioning means,
If you
suppose if you want to create, yeah, we want to create some pipelines. Through that pipeline, server automatically will install on
yes,
the
yes,
VM and automatically it will
yes,
install the database. Yeah, those things.
yes. If you have noticed in the course content, we have a module called Terraform.
Yeah.
So Terraform is what you are talking about. So here, so Terraform that is why we have Terraform in our course, which will
So
help
that
us.
will be, yeah, what module you are covering in the Terraform, that will be enough for me.
See, the Terraform
Mm.
is again. So what we are going to cover in the module. We are going to cover, like, how you can create the virtual machine, how you can create different infrastructure, and if you have any specific set of requirement of for the infrastructure, then of course we can look into this. But we have to cover the basic one so that anybody can understand, like, okay, this is how the infrastructure we can provision by using the pipeline.
Yeah, actually, issue, what is the issue? Where I'm working, we have lots of provisioning here. Okay.
Mhm.
So So that because of that, we planning
Do
to
you know
automate the
Terraform?
things. Yeah, no, that's why
Okay.
actually I'm a pure Oracle DB. I'm working on AWS and on Say
Okay.
also.
So what I
So, but
can see, yeah, yeah, please go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, and some environment we have the OVM. So we are going to migrate on OVM. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, so for that, actually, we are provisioning the server on Ovalium environment. So for that, we have created some pipelines. Through that pipeline, automatically build the server and automatically install the databases and all. Some tasks we can automate through that. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But here in this course, our focus is to create and provision the infrastructure in Azure cloud.
Okay.
And
No, Azure,
if you,
yeah, cloud is not a problem. It can be anything. It can be
yeah.
virtualization. It
So,
can
and
be
for the
AWS.
infrastructure deployment, if you have noticed into my content, then I have talked about the hosting infrastructure. So we are going to learn basically a virtual machine, Azure App Service, Docker, and the Azure Kubernetes, which is AKS. So these are
Mm,
four, platforms or the infrastructure provisioning we are going to do. Sorry.
mm. So which I want to learn that come in the operations, right? Operations.
Yes, basically that comes under
Yeah.
the infrastructure creation and the maintenance of that infrastructure comes under the operations.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm,
So Niranjan is saying, are you going to cover any monitoring tool? No, Niranjan, monitoring is not a part of this course. However, when we are going to learn the infrastructure in Azure, I will absolutely show you what are the monitoring options we have in Azure. And if you have any question or I would say concern, then we can learn about that monitoring there. But yes, no dedicated topic for the monitoring. Okay. Then we
Hi
have,
Manish, I just had a question.
yes,
How can
yeah,
you
please go ahead.
differentiate like the Azure cloud and the Google cloud? Does the companies will stay with Azure cloud or they are transforming to Google cloud?
Hmm. See, it again told you it entirely depends on the organization decision. See, both are providing you the almost similar kind of, see, Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud. All three are the major provider for the cloud services. All three players are basically going to provide more or less same kind of services. So it depends on the company's existing environment. Then it depends on the company's contract with those providers. And again, the pricing and the cost is going to be play a very crucial role in this. So for example, if you are running a company and you have your all your entire infrastructure and everything is running your own data center, somebody come from Microsoft and approach to you like, boss, I am, it is just like having a connection, whether you are going to have a connection of air broadband, Airtel or Tata or Geo Fiber. All of them pretty much provides you the same sort of services. It's completely up to you and your organization requirement, and how your organization requirement going to fit with what kind of cloud environment. So that is there is no straightforward formula, honestly. It's been like 15 years, there is no forward formula. It's just like you have to decide based on your existing conditions and based on what you are being proposed.
And do you got
Okay.
any idea like how the job market will be for Azure cloud when compared with Google cloud or AWS?
Okay, if you ask me, the contribution about, see, most of the organization which works with the Microsoft, which you I'm talking about the Microsoft, which means when your organization infrastructure is all about Microsoft. For example, you are running most of the Windows server, you are running most of the storage solution from the Microsoft. If you're running most of the application which you have developed on Microsoft, then I would say it will go to the Azure. And the job market is something, I would say, the cloud. DevOps job market or cloud administration job market, it entirely depends on your skill. We currently, if you ask me, then I see more of the offers or more of the jobs from the Azure and then from Amazon and then from Google. So if you ask me to rank like one, two, three, then most of the organizations have the openings and this they are using the technology which is the Azure, and the obvious reason behind is that because Microsoft is something which is already running into their organization. So it is simply like they need to simply switch from one service to another service. When they go for the AWS, of course, AWS has its own market and AWS has its own customer. So number one, Azure, number two, AWS, number three, Google. That's the I mean that's the ranking. But yes, it could change in future. Nobody knows.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Manish,
Okay.
one question. Like for
Yes.
certification perspective, this curriculum will be enough. Like 104 and 900 both can I clear with this list of topics?
Well, this course basically is a mix-up course for 104 and AZ 400. If you have heard about that certification, so AZ 400 is about Azure DevOps. So yes, of course, you can clear the AZ 104, but yes, I can again tell you, you need to do a little different something, not just on this course, but yes, it will give you the enough idea like how you can clear your AZ 104. But you have to learn some theoretical parts of the AZ 104, and you do not need to clear AZ 900 if you are going to clear AZ 104. AZ 104 is the pretty much advanced. AZ 900 is all about theoretical understanding of Azure Flow. So I would honestly not suggest you to go with the AZ 900. Let's go. I mean, if you are technical, then try to go for AZ 104.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Bharani, I think, yeah, I think Bharani has raising the hands. Yeah, Bharani.
Yes. Yeah, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Do you provide these class recordings?
Yes, I think
Okay.
the recording should be there.
And and what are the reference books that you would suggest us to go back and refer while practicing, or if we have some questions out of blue, we want to refer some book, what books do you suggest?
Okay. See, Bharani, let me tell you, we are in the technology world, and here the things are changing very rapidly. Okay.
Hmm.
So let's say if somebody has written a book, maybe January 2024. If you refer that book in December 2024 or maybe July
Mm.
2024, right?
Yeah.
Lot of things which has been written in that book must have been changed, right? So I can say you one thing. The first thing you need to focus on the training. And see, I understand. I think you are the one who is from the non-IT background, right?
Not actually, but I'm not, I wasn't,
Okay.
I mean, I did not say it, but yes, I'm not from IT background as well. Yeah.
You have IT background or non-IT?
No, 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 no. But I've done coding, yeah, as a part of my
Ah, okay.
studies. Yeah.
Okay, that's better then. See,
Yeah.
so again, what I would say, what I mean, how I learn and how I prefer to learn, I can say you, because everyone has its own approach. So let's focus on training first. Whatever the content you are getting, focus on that. Also, let me show you one thing since you have asked, so I can quickly share or to everyone. See, when we are talking about the Azure cloud, okay, so you simply need to type Azure document, and it is not for the Azure, it could be the same for AWS and Google as well. So now the companies, all these three companies, the Microsoft and this Amazon and the Google, they have done a tremendous good job in terms of the documentation, and it is something which is quite up to date all the time. So let's say if you would like to talk about, you can see here, lot of all the applic services provided by the Azure is here. All you need to write Azure documentation. It will come to you, and you can simply, let's say if you would like to learn about the virtual machine, so you can simply go to this virtual machine, and then here they will give you a most updated and detailed document. And it is also, I always prefer, whenever I'm in doubt, I always go to the Google and simple type. Let's say if I, even if you don't want to go in this way, you can simply type, for example, I would like to know about the storage account in Azure. The moment you type, most of the first few links you are going to get from the Microsoft. So you can simply go here, storage account, then of course you can read it out. And let's say if I, in the training, I explain what is a storage account and I give you all the basic understanding, then if you would like to go ahead and understand about in more detail, you can absolutely come here and you can get a understanding here.
Yeah. Thanks.
So that is the, and if you would like to download this particular as a PDF, then you option is the download. So if you would like to read it on your mobile or something, then you can do it on your download PDF and study about it. But I would again strongly recommend to go with this free documentation, because Microsoft, AWS, and Google, all of them have a tremendous job in terms of documentation. No
Okay.
need to look here and there. That's your
Mhm.
one, single window for learning.
Yeah. One quick question. What does microservices include? I'm really not sure. I understand client. Are we going to discuss this in detail later?
Yes, yes.
If then, yes, I'll
If
hold
you
on to
have,
my question.
yes, if you have noticed about the content, let me show you quickly if I can.
I'm sorry, I don't
We
want
have
to.
a,
I'll hold the question. That's fine.
no, no, no. It shows. See, if you, I'll just show you quickly
Yeah.
this monolithic and microservice. So if you look at the virtual machine and app service belongs to monolithic,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Docker and AKS belongs to micro.
Got it. Got it.
So we are
Yeah.
going to learn about
Oh, yeah. Sure. Thanks.
that. Okay, so Niranjan, will you provide any knowledge on Azure Elasticity? I am not getting your question. What is Azure Elasticity? I also don't know. Can you try to elaborate for me? Niranjan, if my voice is reaching to you, then honestly, I am not able to understand this question. No, Niranjan, you are not audible. Okay, how the agents are creating automatically? What agents are you talking about? The Windows agent, Linux agent, what agents?
Again, your voice is breaking down, sir.
My voice is again breaking down. Or is it
Not really.
okay? So, Niranjan, if you are able to hear me, see, it is not something how the agents are creating automatically. When we are going to do the Azure, then I will show you how the agents are, getting installed. How the agents are being managed is something to the Microsoft, because we are talking about the cloud, and there are a lot of things which is already taken care by the Microsoft. Microsoft does not give us the access or visibility where we can see how the agents are running in the back. If I make, I hope this answers, because we are going to learn the cloud. So in cloud, there are multiple things which we cannot manage. It is simply managed by the Microsoft, and that is the core concept of the cloud also. Like where we do not have to manage everything, we only have to use the services. If you remember, just like let's say if you have your mobile, so you do not have to how your mobile is going to update the message. All you need to do, you need to use your application. So this is the way how basically cloud is a structure. Okay, any more question, guys? Okay, I think somebody has the Shashank, do you want
Yeah,
to say something?
yeah. It's a quick question actually. I'm from
Yes,
AWS
sir.
background. I heard
You
about
are
this
from this which background?
uh, I work on it completely. So
Sorry, Shashank, your
currently,
voice is really breaking down. I'm not able to hear you. Is it
uh,
possible? Can you type in the chat like from what background you are?
so I'm from AWS.
Ah, okay. You are from AWS background. Okay, fine.
Yeah. So currently working as a senior DevOps engineer, but the market is shifting towards Azure. So that is the reason I'm here. I'm trying to understand,
Okay,
is PowerShell really important for Azure?
okay. Yes. Let me tell you, this is a very good question about the PowerShell. See, so Shashank, if you are already working as a DevOps engineer, so just I'm just going to answer in little technical terms. So see why PowerShell is important. So let's say if you are, I would not say mandatory, but yes, the PowerShell is going to, make your task easier. So for example, let's say if you have multiple EC2 instance to deploy in your environment, right? So if you know the Lambda function or if you know how to write the or bash script, right, then that job can be easier for you. So even if you have the pipeline, and if you in the pipeline, if you include your script, so that in one pipeline you can include your script to deploy multiple resources, that's where we need a scripting. So the entire logic behind the PowerShell or the Bash shell, or I would say scripting, is that when we have to do the bulk task, when we have tasks where we have do lot of repetitive tasks, then scripting is our tool which we can use to do that task. So if you know the PowerShell, it is absolutely going to help you to do your job, but it's not mandatory. Second thing, since you are already from the AWS background, so I am pretty much sure you must have understanding of the Bash scripting. Do you have that?
Yeah, yeah, Bash and Python. Yeah, we use regularly.
Okay, so if you know the Bash and Python, then I can comfortably say the PowerShell is not a big deal for you. It's almost all the logics the same. Only thing you need to understand like the syntax, all the looping, all the conditional statement, all the boolean true false, all the this variable thing, all these things which includes or which comes under the scripting, that you can easily the same thing with the PowerShell as well. Nothing to nothing special about that. But yes, you need to learn the syntax, like how to like let's say if you know how to write the if statement, then how to write the same thing into the PowerShell. That's it.
Yeah, so it is not a standard to learn PowerShell for Azure, right?
Yes, yes, it's not standard. See, I told you it's not standard to learn. But if you once again, if you know something, if you understand, if you know some other tool which is going to help you. For example, AI learning the AI is also not important. But if you know, it is again going to be helpful for you. That's so that's the approach. It's not like we have to restrict ourselves. No, we cannot learn. Yes, of course, you can learn. It's not mandatory for this course, but if parallelly, if you can spend some time to learning other technologies as well, it is certainly going to help.
Yeah, one more question. Maybe it looks silly, but once we finish
No,
this
no.
course, once you finish this course, can we say that we have at least 1 year of experience?
See, if you whatever we are going to cover in this course, and trust me, if you learn by heart whatever we are going to this cover in this course, then I am pretty much confident you can say like you have more than 2 or 3 years of experience.
Oh, that's brilliant then. Thank you. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
but again, it all depends like how much you have learned and how much you are keeping in your practice.
Yeah, obviously it's with me, right? You deliver it, but I need to take it in. Yeah, I
Yes.
understand.
That's right. But the content is that much rich. Like if you go through all the contents and if you spend time on learning contents, then you are also going to know like what are other areas where you should explore. You are going to know like, okay, I know these things. Now I need to add those other skills into my portfolio as
Yes, yes, thank you.
Okay. I think I said there is one more hand, or it's all done. Anybody has any question, guys? Okay. I see the silence, so it seems we do not have any.
Yes,
Yes,
Manish.
Manish.
Okay, I'm really sorry. By mistake, I was trying to stop. I intended to stop my screen sharing, and I unfortunately I click on the leave button. So, do we guys have any other question for me?
Yeah, just about the course timing.
Okay, so see, it's scheduled for 2 months from Monday to Friday. However, it's like we are going to talk about like whatever the content we have. So we need to see if you all of you guys are picking up with a good pace, then of course maybe we'll be able to complete it in before 2 months. I can try, but it might be possible like we need to extend like 5-10 days more beyond 2 months. But most of the time, I try to complete within the defined time. Okay. It's not the
Manish, timing?
duration here.
So I'm asking if it is 7:30 to 8:30 or
Course
Okay. So it
timing.
is timing. Okay, okay. From Monday to Friday, it is the timing. I think you guys have already been conveyed about the time. Just let me. It should be 8 to 9 or 9 to 10. Any 1 hour we can do.
And Manish, for this Azure DevOps, do we need Linux commands as well, like Linux scripting and all those things? Do we need to?
No, we don't mandatorily need that. However, if we have a basic understanding, uh, who asked this question? Venki, is that you or somebody else? I forgot the
Imran
name.
here, Imran here.
Okay, Imran. So Imran, see, honestly, I'm not, you also aware about the job market. So right now, a lot of, things going on. So in my understanding on experience, I can tell you if you are from the IT background, I mean IT support or IT admin background, then I can simply suggest you if you do not know the Linux at all, then you should start learning at least the basic one because it is not mandatory for this course or maybe for any other course, but it is completely depend on in which, or for example, if you're appearing for an interview in any organization and that organization is using the DevOps, Azure also, which is fine, but most of their infrastructure, let's say, Linux oriented. So in that case, they ask you, do you have any basic understanding and knowledge of the Linux or not? Because right now, if the time has basically gone, or the I would say the day has gone, where we used to have a Windows administrator or where we used to have Linux administrator separately. Right now, the organization demands mix of both. So if you know the Windows, which is good, but if you also know the basics of Linux, that would be an added advantage for you.
Okay, Manish, thanks.
Okay, so we have, I think, guys, we have time is 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. from Monday to Friday. And might be because see, if we are going to connect on every day, then we can absolutely confirm this time. But yes, it is going to be most of the time 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. If you guys want, let's say if majority or everyone is comfortable, then we can also take connect in the session maybe from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. as well. But again, 9 p.m. and 10 to 10 p.m. maybe some late for somebody, but again, it's entirely up to you. I am flexible into these 2 hours, so we can decide based on our daily connect, like how we are going to connect or at what time we are going to connect tomorrow, something like that. Is it
do
okay
you
with you guys?
change every day or do you keep the same time? Because it's really important
It,
for me.
it it's important. So that's what I'm saying. It's the default time is 8 to 9. Let's say most of the time, like most of the day, it will be 8 to 9 only. Okay. Let's say if Shashank, for example, tomorrow, for example, I'm just giving you an example. Okay, tomorrow, let's say if you have some meeting, okay, which starts at 8:30, and you requested like, okay, can we start tomorrow, like the day after tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and if everyone is comfortable with that, then when we can use that slot as well. So I'm just giving you the flexibility. So 8 to 9 is our regular timing. Again, it depends on all of you. If you would like, we can switch to 9 to 10 as well. So, any more question, guys?
I think there's only one question for me from my side as well.
Yes.
Do we have any like a sample project we deploy, or just you go through some scenarios?
Okay. As of now, we are not going to do any sample project. First, we are going to understand, the uh, I would say how the cloud works, what are the resources we need, and how the infrastructure as code, which is Terraform, works, and how monolithic and microservices works. Once we have that understanding, then of course we are going to have one project-based session where we are going to deploy an application from start to end, and we are also going to see how it looks like at the user end. However, with all the content we have, if you'll go through that, by that time, I am pretty much confident you by yourself will be able to do that. But again, we are going to have that. Don't worry about that part. Chris, so you need the course content which I shown you in PPT, right? Yes. Okay, of course you can get that. I'll just check. Okay. So Chris, we can certainly provide you that course content. I'll just ask the institute to get back to you. Don't worry. Just share your email ID if possible. Yeah, okay. I think fine. So I think everyone please share your email ID. I'm not sure if somebody has asked you to do that or not. If then please for the record purpose. Okay. Any other question? Okay, I think then we are good to close the call for today if everyone feels okay.
Thanks, Manish.
Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks for your time. And let's connect tomorrow. Okay, have a nice day. Looking forward to all of you, and let's start our learning journey. Thank you. Bye bye.